I'm Cindy, and welcome to Hot Yoga Tales. This is the show about a journey of two people who've never taken yoga before. And each week, we all experience a different type of yoga. Be sure to stay tuned after class to hear how Kelly and Torsten do in their practice this week. Today, we're going to be doing a Pamper Me yoga class, a super gentle practice with lots of healing touch. I've had many people over the years tell me that yoga is their happy place, and I want to share a little bit of that with you today. If you're following along at home, you can dim the lights, maybe have a couple of pillows ready, and perhaps even convince someone to provide the massage and the healing touch for you. So let's get started in our practice today. To start off, we're going to be using a lot more supports than we might normally do in a yoga practice. So taking a hold of one of those pillows that I mentioned and just placing it at the base of the spine right by the tailbone. And then you're going to lay back onto the floor mat that you have. The idea is that the bolster or pillow is positioned along the length of the spine. That allows the lungs and the chest to open. Shoulder blades drape over the pillow, providing support, lifting heart up towards the sky. As we do in our Shavasana position, you allow your legs to just splail open to either side of the room. That opens up the hips as the thighs turn outwards. Find softness in the eyes. The balls of the eyes are just heavy in the sockets. The jaw is loose, tongue hanging to the back of the throat. Always starting off practice with the breath. So as you inhale, let's focus on the spine here today. Pull the breath all the way up the bottom of the spine to the top of the head. And as you exhale, release the breath down the spine and out the body. As you inhale, you're pulling in positivity. And as you exhale, you're releasing back out into the atmosphere. Inhale whatever you envision wanting in your life, and exhale everything that you don't. Inhale softness, and exhale heaviness. Being quiet here in your mind, one of the most challenging things to do with our yoga practice is to just release all outside thoughts, your busyness from your day, your list of things to do, something that all of us are constantly working on. It's just emptying the mind and truly taking this time for yourself. Allow yourself to be able to just receive. So as I come around today, there's no sense of helping me with any adjustments. Kelly and Torsten just laying on their mat, willing to be receivers today, not thinking that they have to give back with every aspect of their lives. There's been many studies done that talk about the power of healing touch. There's an exchange of energy. We know that when we hurt ourselves, one of the very first things that we do is touch it with our hand. There's a reason for that. We all have a healing power within our hands to heal the body and ease the mind. Your breath should be extending, the inhale and exhale getting longer and deeper, sinking a little closer down into the earth with each and every breath in and out, becoming one with the earth. Going to make a slight adjustment with our pose now. Starting to invite movement into the body first by wiggling fingers and toes, and then stillness. Now we're going to press the soles of the feet together and allow knees to open off to the sides of the room. Taking hands and interlacing them over top of the stomach, pulling them far enough away to allow hands to rotate in circles. Our joints often have knots, and some believe those knots are fear. So as the knots release, think about the fear as dissipating into the atmosphere, releasing what's not serving you. Turning hands in the opposite direction now, and then stillness. Inhale, hands up towards the sky. Shoulder blades are still nice and flat on the mat. Exhaling. Inhale, let's warm the shoulders. Take those knuckles higher towards the sky. Shoulder blades move away from the mat. Exhale, blades replace back down to the floor. Inhale, high. And soften. One more time. In, release the grip of the fingers, and then allow the back of the hands to touch down to the floor behind you. Palms face up towards the sky. Shoulders are stretching, fingers are reaching far. Feel that amazing sensation with the palms facing high, signifying that you're willing to receive. As I mentioned before, it's a sensation of pulling what you need out of the universe and drawing it in towards your body and your mind. And inhale those hands back up towards the sky, and then release them down to your sides. Draw knees up towards the sky, soles planted onto the floor. Always making sure our neck is warm. So just rolling head over to one side, left cheek trying to make its way down towards the mat. Feel that luscious stretch in the right side of the neck. Nose turns back towards the sky and continues on over towards the right. And pulling high once again. We're going to do a little bit of tummy work here today. So let's pull the belly button in towards the spine, and then there's a sensation of lifting it up in between the ribs. Heels come away from the ground. Calf muscles face down towards the floor, parallel, toes point up towards the sky. Taking the hands, placing them on the quads. As you breathe in, lift your head and your shoulders away from the ground. Have your hands pressing into your legs, holding, engaging tummy muscles for 4, 3, 2, 1. Soften shoulders and head, touch back down to the ground. Breathe in and lift and press. You're using that resistance to find core energy. 3, 2, 1, and soften. I'm going to do one more set here, warming the ab muscles. Inhale high and press. Make it something for 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Head and shoulders down to the ground, feet touch to the mat. We're going to slide the right foot forward, push that right heel away from you. You're going to draw the left knee in towards the chest. Hold on to it with the right hand, and then you're going to pull it across your body. Release that bolster or pillow from underneath your back and place it underneath that left knee, applying a little bit of extra support and cushioning for your body today. Take your knee over to the side here. Like our twist, hold it with the other hand. Roll over to the side, twisting. And then place this underneath here. Just a little added comfort for that lovely twist of the waist. Maybe the right hand pulling that leg closer down towards the floor. Left hand off to the side. If you have that person at home with you, getting a little massage here of the forearm and the hand. Allowing yourself to completely let go. engage your tummy muscles here. That left knee comes back up towards the sky, rolling spine flat to mat. Push that left foot forward, back of the knee pressing down into the ground. Right knee comes in towards the chest with the breath in. Left hand holds on to that right knee. Draw it across your body and have that pillow, just allowing for softness and cushioning. Thinking about organs releasing toxins here with the twist. If your mind has started to allow busyness back in, release it away. Remember, this time is just for you and your practice here today. And pulling that right knee back up towards the sky. Pushing that bent knee straight down onto the mat. A little bit more tummy work as the hands are placed behind the head. Elbows are bent off to either side of the room. Going to work tummy more. Think about lifting the heart towards the sky rather than crunching forward as we do our lifts here today. Nice and soft and gentle. Inhale, head and then shoulders come away from the ground. Open up the ribs, elbows still point to the sides, and soften. Shoulders and head touch down to the ground. Inhale and lift. And lower. Breathe and come high. The lungs lift you tall. And soften. And up. And down. Two more. Lift, engage core muscles. Exhale, lower. One more. Up. And down. Always performing a counter pose in our practice. So, preparing to come into fish pose to release the stomach muscles. Placing the hands just underneath the glutes, arms tucked in tight towards the body. Then you're going to point your toes towards the front of the room. Press forearms, elbows, and palms down to the mat. Arching the back, tummy lifts away from the ground, ribs and lungs open high towards the sky. Pull the shoulder blades together behind you. If it's in your practice and you don't have neck issues, maybe allowing head to drop back and just having the top of the head touch down to the ground. Hold and lift for 4. Breathe into tummy, last 2. And 1. Press elbows, palms, straighten out the spine and the neck, and allow the spine to touch back down towards the floor. Let's bend the left knee, that foot touches to the ground. Take the right knee now, bend it as well, and flex the foot, and then place the right ankle on top of the left quad. Now, pull the left foot away from the ground. Send your right hand into the triangle you've created with your legs. Wrap the left hand around the outside of your left leg. Interlace the fingers behind your back, but still try to allow those shoulder blades to press to the floor. Pull left leg in towards torso as you send the right knee towards the front of the room. You should feel a stretch deep into the right hip. It's the back of the head that touches down to the ground so the chin stays slightly tucked. Let's add to the pose, continuing to push right knee forward. Straighten out the left leg, so now we're feeling the lengthening in the left hamstring. Let's roll that left foot in circles, again releasing knots. Fear keeps us from doing what we want in our life, so let it go. Other direction. Stillness with the foot. Exhale, left leg comes closer. Use the strength in your arms to draw it in. And bend the left knee. That foot releases down to the floor. Fingers unleash. Right foot touches down to the mat. Left leg away. Flex the foot to protect that knee. Left ankle on right quad. Right foot away from the mat. Left hand this time into the triangle. Right hand wraps around the outside. Fingers find each other. Pull right thigh in. Press the left knee forward. You can feel that stretch in the left hip. Not allowing head to arch back. Keep the spine and neck long. Adding to the pose, continue to press left knee forward. Straighten out the right leg. That heel faces up towards the sky so you can feel the right hamstring getting long. Pull that leg, blades stay flat to floor. A lot to think about. Roll that right foot in circles. And in the other direction. And then stillness with that foot. Bend the right knee. Foot touches down to the ground. Left foot now touches to the mat. We're going to do our rolling bridge pose. Arms off to the side, palms face down. You're going to press into the heels. It's a tilt of the pelvis up towards the sky, and then one vertebrae at a time comes up off the mat. Hips reach towards the ceiling. Exhale, soften vertebrae back down to the mat. Inhale, lift and roll and come high. Exhale, release. One more time, roll the pelvis, peel the spine. And then soften back down towards the ground. Hands behind the head, knees stay bent. We're going to add a little twist here this time. Head and shoulders come away from the mat, and then left elbow reaches towards the right knee. Straighten and release. Lift high, right elbow towards left knee, center, and down. Up, right, center, low, up, left, center, and low. Couple more. High, right, center, and down. Up, left, center, and stay here. Take the hands now off to the sides into a cactus position. Elbows at 90, palms facing to universe once again. And then pull arms away from the mat and have hands, forearms, elbows pressed together. Let's release the back and the scapula. Send those fingers towards the back of the room as you pull the shoulders down. Gaze, eyes are closed. There's a lot to feel and nothing to see. And then elbows come back down towards tummy. Arms open off to the sides. Staying here for a moment, feel how your chest is open. Tummy rises and falls with the inhale and exhale. As we prepare, come to a resting pose here today for a few moments. Perhaps that person can just provide a little massage of the knee joints, rolling them in circles. Our knees take a lot of impact throughout the day, so send them back love. Allow this time for them to just soften. And as we prepare for break, try to challenge yourself to keep your mind empty, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. From here, We're going to straighten the legs down onto the mat, and your arms were in cactus position. Let's point those toes towards the front of the room and slide the arms along the floor, straightening them out as you do so. Hands reaching behind you as if it's a big morning luscious stretch, like you're just waking up. Inhale, fill belly with air. Exhale, let go. Inhale, audible breath out. From here, keep the left arm long behind you. Bend that right knee in towards your chest. And then you're going to roll over onto your left side. You're going to keep that left arm long behind you, and the left ear is touching down to the left bicep. Straighten the right leg. Try to be straight like a pencil here, from the top of the head all the way down the line of the body and out through the heels. That right hand can just be supporting you in front of your mat. As you breathe in, pull that right knee in towards your chest. For balance, the left leg presses into the earth. Take your hand away from the ground and have your two peace fingers wrap around your big toe. Then find your balance from your core and then straighten right leg up towards the ceiling. If the leg doesn't straighten, that's okay. You can keep it bent slightly. Work towards a straight leg eventually. Push that right heel high. Keep that right shoulder down and away from your ear. If you need more challenge, start to bend the right elbow, drawing that right leg in towards you. If you need a little extra support, you can use one of those pillows behind your back to help with balance. Pull the tummy in nice and tight for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend the right knee and then stack that leg hip on hip, knee on knee, ankle on ankle. Let's work the right glute. Press out through the heels. Focus on that muscle. Lift the right leg away from the left and drop it back down. You're isolating that. Inhale high and exhale low. Up and down. Your leg doesn't have to come high. It's about the proper form. Up and down. Feel your leg getting long as you stretch it away, and high and down. 2 more. Up and down. High and low. Let's roll over onto our tummies here. Your hands are going to press into the mat just underneath your shoulders. Send those blades down your back. Forehead just touching to the mat. Tops of the feet pressing to earth. Working out those arms. Hug elbows tight in towards your ribs. Push the earth away from you as you lift head and chest away from the ground. Soften those glute muscles. And then lower torso back down towards the floor. Cobra Push-Ups, up and down, high and low. Last 3, keep the shoulders away from ears and soften. Last 2, and down. Last one, up and low. Take that right arm out in front of you and roll over onto your other side. Press that right leg down into the floor for balance. Pull the left knee in towards the chest. Hold on to the toe with your fingers. And then lift that foot up towards the sky. Nice straight leg if possible. Always a sense of a bolt of energy from the hip all the way up through the leg and heel. Maybe bending left elbow, drawing that leg closer. Your core muscles are controlling this pose, believe it or not. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bend that knee. Stack leg on leg. Working the left glute this time. Push through the heels. Remember, nice and straight. Perhaps your hips have started to release back. Press them forward. Left leg away from the right and soften. Up and down. So you're sending away and high. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. And from here, rolling over onto your back. We're going to come up into a seated position now. Supporting yourself from your legs, coming up into seated, and crossing legs in front of you. Call this easy seated position. A little bit more twisting of the spine here. Taking the right hand behind you, fingers tented. Left hand to the outside of the right knee. Feel the head tall, neck reaching. And then exhale. Send that right shoulder behind you. If you want more twist, you can take that right hand, have it tuck into the left thigh. And release forward. Tent those hands in front of you. Breath in, tall spine. And as you exhale, let's send those hands forward, walking them in front of you. Hear a lot of people complain about tight hips. You should feel this deep into the hip sockets here as you reach those fingers far. If you want more, start to bend the elbows. Your gaze is just down between your forearms, so you're not arching your back, you're just keeping it nice and neutral. Hips, the major area for storing stress. So literally using the power of your mind to see that stress exiting your body. Elbows come away from the ground if they were low, and then fingertips walk back towards the legs. Taking the opposite foot in front now. Left hand behind, right hand to outside of left knee. Inhale, tall spine first, and then exhale and twist. Pull that tummy in nice and tight. Look towards the back of the room. 3, 2, 1. Let's soften and pull forward. You can stay here in easy seated position. If lotus happens to be within your practice, you can place the feet on top of the thighs with soles facing towards the ceiling. Just avoiding this if you have any knee issues. Placing the arms along your side body here with the palms or fists pressing into the ground. Pull your tummy muscles tight here. And with the breath in, you can push the glutes away from the floor. So we're strengthening arms and strengthening abs. If it's in your practice and you want to take it up a notch, you can pull your legs away from the ground, holding here, feeling tummy muscles working. Bones are stacked in the arms for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Soften those glutes down to the ground. Release the feet from the cross-legged position or from lotus. Rolling over the ankles and coming onto the knees. We're going to do a pose that's called gate pose or Parigasana. It's important here for your left knee to be directly underneath your hip. And then your right knee, Then you're going to send your left leg off to the side with those toes pointing forward. Left hand on the left quad. Keep the right shoulder strong in the socket as you lift that hand up towards the sky. Sometimes the hips want to release back. Keep them pressing forward. And as you breathe out, left hand slides along that leg, Try to keep that ear attached to the bicep. Top of the head reaching towards the right fingertips. Feel that amazing stretch in the right side body. You're trying to keep the left side body long as well, even though we're angling off in that direction. Maybe press that right shoulder blade back just a little. Look to the sky for 3, 2, 1. Counter pose now. Take that right hand down to the ground. Fingers are tented. Push hips forward. Lift the left arm up and forward. Think about being as long as possible from left fingertips all the way down that side body through to the outside edge of the left foot. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's pull high here. Left knee comes back in. Fingers get interlaced behind the sacrum. Lifting heart, opening chest, tummy tight. As you exhale, you're going to take third eye down towards the ground. And you're going to lift those hands up towards the sky. If it's challenging to have your fingers interlaced here, you can hold on to elbows with opposite hands. The idea is to have head below the heart for a moment and to feel that stretch in the shoulders. Nice. Just holding here for a moment, enjoying what having head below heart does for your circulation. For 3, 2, and 1. Tummy muscles engaged to support yourself as your head comes away from the ground and thumbs touch the sacrum. This time, it's the right leg that reaches off to the side, toes point directly forward, and that foot's firmly planted to floor. Left knee directly underneath the left hip. Right hand on the right quad. Reach the left hand up towards the ceiling. As you breathe out, send that arm along the leg. Reach with the fingertips, something just beyond your grasp. You're long in the right side body and in left side body. Hold here, press hips forward. Yoga's about holding the pose. Teaching our muscles what we want them to do. We want them to lengthen and strengthen. Pulling high and releasing left arm down to the side. Right arm reaches up and across. Energy from the top of the head. Right fingers down right side body and through the outside of the right foot. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's pull high. We're going to do our camel or Ustrasana pose today. So both knees are on the ground, directly underneath your hips. A couple of options here for Ustrasana. Taking hands behind your back, fingertips face down towards the floor, just above the glutes. As you inhale, open up chest and lungs and ribs. Start to look towards the ceiling, pressing hips and quads forward. If you want to take it to full camel pose, reach behind you and hold on to your ankles. Feel yourself opening up more. You're vulnerable here and willing to receive. Maybe if you don't have neck issues, allowing head to drop back. Make it something by pushing hips and quads forward for 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly pulling out of the pose. And then we're going to release glutes down to the floor, taking the pillow or bolster, whatever you have at home, placing it in between the legs and sitting glutes back onto the pillow. Finding your comfort here. If you have a little bit of knee trouble, then you can have the heels underneath the glutes, taking a little bit of pressure off of the knees. Let's reach the arms wide to the side. Inhale, come high. Going to hold on to the right forearm with the left hand and ease yourself off to the side. Still trying to keep that right glute muscle where it is. Hips stay square. Beautiful. For 3, 2, and 1. Reach tall, palms face each other. There's energy being shared between the palms of your hands and your fingertips. Now hold on to the left forearm with the right hand and ease yourself off to the side. And reaching tall once again. And then arms wide to the side and behind you. We're going to do a little bit of pulsing here. As you inhale, push hips and quads towards the ceiling, and then soften glutes, touch back down towards the heels. Inhale and lift. Exhale and lower. Coming high and releasing. Last 3 and down. Last 2. And the last one, lifting tall and releasing glutes back down towards the bolster, sitting with a tall spine. It's okay, no, it's bolster. So allowing that person at home, give you a little bit of a shoulder rub here and the neck. Closing the eyes. Noticing how your body's feeling at this point in your practice. From here, as we come to break, using that bolster to release into child's pose, maybe pulling it forward just a little bit. Head drops down to the bolster, arms wrap around the outsides of your legs, and we'll be right back. Welcome back. On break, I was just deepening this Balasana pose, just allowing for deeper relaxation. You should be able to feel the tummy filling with air in between the thighs and then collapsing back down as the diaphragm empties. Coming out of our resting pose now. Pulling those glutes away from the heels, rolling onto hands, releasing the bolster or pillow off to the side. Going to have palms pressing down into the mat. Shoulders are over elbows, elbows are over wrists, and knees are underneath the hips with a nice flat back surface. Let's redistribute the weight here, pulling out of tabletop by bringing the right knee away from the ground and then pushing that leg behind you. The toes should point down towards the floor, keeping the hips square, energy out through the heel. Lifting the left arm away from the ground, so you're still parallel at this point. Then, as you inhale, you're going to lift the right leg and the left arm up towards the sky and then soften back into parallel position. Inhale, lift. Exhale, parallel. Inhale, high. Exhale, neutral. Your gaze changes. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, look to floor. Inhale, up and down. Last 3. Last 2, and last 1. Placing that hand down onto the ground, knee bends. We're going to do a version of cat pose that's a little bit different. You're going to round your spine, spread your shoulder blades, pull tummy in tight, then press the tops of the feet into the mat and take the knees away from the ground. Feel your shoulder blades spreading away from each other. Feel your quadriceps working, tummy working, arms are stacked, bone on bone. And release, and flatten out the back. Left knee comes away from the ground. Push that leg behind you. Send the right arm strong towards the front of the room. Breathe in and lift left leg and right arm. Breathe out and soften into neutral. Inhale high, exhale low. Look up and down to ground. Up and lower. Compression of the lower spine. Up and lower. Last two and down. Last one. And that hand touches to the mat. You're going to press glutes to the heels, forehead to the mat. And then inhale, round the spine, shift the weight, flatten the back into tabletop surface. Exhale, push earth away from you, glutes touch to heels. Inhale, round out like a cat, shift weight to table and flatten the spine. One more time, push back. Breathe in and lift. And neutral. Let's sit back to the heels and then cross the ankles and release to the floor. I always like to add a hug of ourselves into the practice. So pull those knees in tight towards the body and wrap your arms around your legs. Feel yourself hugging yourself, knowing that every body is created perfectly. Heels may be coming away from the ground. And then forehead making its way towards the knees, rounding yourself into a small ball. And then heels touch back down towards the ground. We're going to come into our reverse dog here by straightening the legs down to the floor, pointing those toes forward, taking the arms behind, fingers pointing to the back of the room. Let's lift the glutes away from the ground. Heart rises up towards the sky, looking in that same direction. Feel wherever you're feeling this. Maybe in your back, maybe in your shoulders. Point the toes down towards the earth. For 3, 2, and 1. Release glutes down to the floor. Let's bend the knees and press the soles of the feet together. The idea here is that your knees get as close to the floor as possible. Heels come in towards pelvis. Interlacing fingers in front of those toes. Nice, tall spine here. And as you breathe out, let's release one vertebrae at a time. Chin to chest, and then rounding out the spine, spreading the shoulder blades. Forehead pulls towards the toes, feeling knees opening more as you do so. And then stacking vertebrae once again, lasting to come into place. Shoulders and head. Straightening the legs out in front of you into a staff position here. You may already be feeling this in the hamstrings as you sit at a 90-degree angle, backs of the knees press to the floor, and toes rise towards the sky. Let's place the hands on the quad muscles here. Breathe in nice and tall. Forward fold as you slide the hands along the legs, down the shins and towards the ankles. And then pull yourself down towards those legs. Just going to use this opportunity to provide a little extra touch here to Torsten and Kelly. Shoulders are nice and back, and that neck stays long. Inhale and exhale. takes a moment for our body to realize what we're asking it to do. So confirm with your hamstrings that you want them to loosen. If you're a runner or you sit at a chair for long periods of time, those hamstrings behind your legs get short. Tell them they can become more elastic and loose. And as you inhale, those hands slide back up the legs. Body becomes perpendicular once again. We're going to hold on to the backs of the legs here and release body down to the floor. Think about the spine touching the ground. Pull the shoulders together before you allow the blades to touch to mat. Pull the knees in towards the chest, hold on to the caps and flex the feet, and then open the legs wide to the side. Release the grip of the kneecaps, bring legs together, and then straighten the legs up towards the sky. Your heels are reaching high, and your toes are pulling to the back of the room. Little bit of tummy work and leg work as you allow your legs to open wide to the side, pushing out through the heels. And then inhale, legs close. Open and closed. Kelly and Torsten will continue with the movement as I come around and just provide a little bit of touch here, a little scalp massage. Controlled from the core. 3. Last 2. And last 1. Let's relieve those tummy muscles now by coming into happy baby, holding on to the outsides of the feet and pulling the knees down towards the floor. The soles face the sky and are parallel with each other. Let's roll over to the right thigh and straighten that left leg off to the side if possible. Pushing out through that heel, left shoulder down and away. Roll back, left thigh touches to the floor. Push that right leg forward. Right shoulder down and away. And release. Holding on to the kneecaps here. Knees to the left and forward, to the right and center. A few big circles here. Just releasing spine and tummy. Then send those legs in the opposite direction. Allow the feet to touch down to the ground. We're going to take a bolster so that we're in a supported Shavasana position as we near the end of our practice. Just taking a pillow or some kind of support that you have available, placing it underneath your knees. It's particularly lovely if you have any lower back issues, taking pressure off the lower back. Straightening legs down to the ground now so that the bolster's placed just underneath the knees. You may think that you're relaxed here, but if someone comes and just shakes your leg, they'll be able to relieve some extra tension that is stored there. You've probably heard that so many of our organs, nerve endings end up in the feet. So a foot massage is a lovely way to end your practice, just kneading out any of those knots. And trying to empty your mind. Breath is slowing here. They say that when you come to your practice, you grow an extra petal on your lotus flower located within your abdomen. So as we lay here on our mat, inhale into that lotus flower, letting it blossom wide, knowing that you've created that extra petal here today. Rolling over onto your right side just for a moment. And then Left hand presses into the mat, supporting yourself as you make your way up into seated position, cross-legged. Palms face high towards the sky. Thumb touches to index finger. Thank you for joining us here today. From my light to yours, namaste.
I really enjoyed Pamper Me Yoga. It was really a great opportunity. You know, we have an absence of touch in our world, and Cindy's really great. You know, there's more touching in that kind of yoga class, right? So she'll maybe do a head massage, or she massaged my forearms and my feet at one point. So it's a really de-stressing, really good deep stretching. You really connect with your breathing. I loved it. That whole idea of connecting with your breath and connecting with where you're at and showing kindness to yourself. I think I started this process saying that self-acceptance is a journey that I'm on. I'm definitely still on that journey, but Pamper Me Yoga, I guess, helped facilitate some of that. So I remember coming in here at the beginning very nervous that first day that I was going to be talking about my yoga experience, and realizing that it was connected to self-acceptance in some ways. So this process has taken longer than I thought it was going to, which has been a real benefit to myself, my personality, my issues, for lack of another word. I'm feeling really good. I think yoga has helped with taking care of my body, considering some of the other sports that I'm doing. Torsten had reminded me that I had an IT issue, and in fact, it's gone. Without, you know, I haven't been to physio. It's gone, and I think it's because of the stretching and the strengthening that happens at yoga. I've been really grateful and thankful for this opportunity to do yoga.
The Pamper Me is fantastic because it just allows you to de-stress and take care of yourself. It allowed me to really hold the stretches longer than when you're doing a power or a hot class that's quite a bit, it's funny to say up-tempo yoga, but it is much more cardio, it's much more fluid. And the deep allowed me to hold some poses for like a good 30 seconds, and you could really feel your body just relaxing. And then you would stretch a little more and it would relax more, and it was great. And then of course, you know, she'd rub your feet, she'd rub your arms, she put some apricot peachy thing on my shoulders, so every move after that I smelled like a basket of fruit. And then she did my head, and it was fantastic. You know, it's funny, I remember back, and this guy was an old football player. He used to play for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and he was my grade 10 gym teacher. And I remember he used to say, the number one thing people don't do as they age, and of course at the time I'm 17, so I'm thinking, well, what does he mean by old, like 30, whatever? Well, now that I'm 50, I get it. He said the number one thing people don't do as they age, they should do, is stretch. And I find that anyone can stretch, but I call yoga is like purposeful stretching. And I have to do it, and I need to do it, and I feel good after I do it, and I'll definitely keep going.